But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
All right, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky episode 0x45. It's the 70th episode. And today we have a couple of really quick updates, Dragonchain. Then we're going to bring the guests on. Then we will have an AMA with Eric and I about Den and a few more, announcements, updates on Den and what's going on there. So first off, we wanted to talk, remind you, the Dragon Beaksy US dollar pair is now live, and that is, direct US dollars from your checking account, whatnot. So go check that out, see what's available there for features. It's pretty cool. Things are going, moving along with Beaksy. We talked about that announcement last week, so just keep an eye out for when all of that stuff starts. Next, we have Number Go Up by FOMO Hunt. What an appropriate week for it. So we're going to do Bitcoin, obviously, this week. Last week, Number Go Up, and the analyst forecast for this next week is Number Go Up. All-time highs and everything. Will it break 20K? Who knows, right? But it's all going in the right direction. We do have a prediction to offer, though, as shared on Crypto Twitter last week, that the prediction from a great analyst is that 2022 and 2023 are going to not be very fun because we'll come off all-time highs of 500K, and Crypto Twitter will do nothing but complain and moan forever for 2 years approximate, while we hover around 85K, for months and months. And most traders will come mostly to the Dragonchain Telegram and complain about our marketing. That's mostly what will happen for all of 2022 and 2023. Just be prepared for it. And in 2025, that's when we probably hit 1 million. So, but we might only hit 990, 998, something like that. It'll probably be really hard to cross the 1 million mark, but either way, that'll be in 25. So there you go. And this next year should be fun, at least. I'm thinking, 2021 there'll be lots of interesting stuff, and crypto projects will get a lot of attention in the mainstream media, mostly trying to call out the worst of us, but it'll be fun anyway. So anyway, that's all of the Dragonchain updates this week. We have quite a few things going on all over the place. There's even probably something coming out with Eternal in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out. Follow us on Dragonchain Gang, and we'll let you know. All right, so we'll be right back with our guests Cormac and Stefano after this. to welcome our guests. Cormac Kelly, probably the most Irish name possible, joining us from Dublin, an expert in blockchain, AI, machine learning, mobile payments, cybersecurity, director of strategic partnerships at Sovereign Systems and strategic business development at Innovate Out Partners. Hello, Cormac.
Hi, Joe.
And Stefano Gulbalis, founder and lead architect at Newsphere, joining us from Miami Beach. Much better weather there. Works as chief innovation officer and technical consultant for Newslabs. Am I pronouncing it right? Newslabs? Right?
Newslabs, yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
Good deal, good deal. I should have asked that before, sorry. So let's start with you, Stefano. How did you get your start in tech, and what have you set out to solve with Newsphere?
So I started my technology career a long time ago. After I failed my medical school, so I decided to go and train in basic code in a TRS-80. That changed my life. So 30 plus years later, I'm here doing technology. But I found technology to be my passion, right? It's all I have done in my life. I did a big project, architected Miami-Dade College, one of the largest universities here in the United States. And that launched me into a very prolific career, right? Mm-hmm. But I have always worked for large corporations, right? And we always looked at profiting from the large corporations, among the largest in the nation or in the world. And Newsphere was more of a social media project to help the community and elevate the community in an Industry 4.0 ecosystem, right? To try to help the industries such as education, the local governments, the local industry, and more important so, help the little guy, right? The person that needs to thrive in that environment. So Newsphere came as an architecture that's an overlay, that's AI and blockchain, that will assist the little guy leapfrog that digital divide. Right? So if we put it in simple terms. And, I think in my career, late in my career, I think I will feel better doing something for the little guy than working for a large corporate ecosystem. So that's what I'm doing now.
That's cool. Okay. All right. Excellent. Cormac, can you tell us about Innovate Out Partners, or what's your primary role in it?
Well, I created Innovate Out Partners with a couple of other partners about 8 years ago, and I was getting approached by a number of different companies here in Ireland and in Europe to source, I suppose, buyers, partners, investors, integrators. So I decided to set up Innovate Out Partners, and we would take on very innovative technologies. I started my own technology career. I was a recruiter, first of all, back in 1997 in Boston for high-tech guys. And I said, look, if these guys are making a lot of money, I'm jumping over to the other side. So I trained up and I became a network engineer. And I worked in Mass General Hospital and Brigham and Women's Hospital as a sort of a hit team for fixing network issues around the hospital in various offices. And I really got into, interestingly enough, very early on, decentralized, I suppose, servers, in that we had our own server of music hidden in the network that we would go and plug doctors into. And it was way before, it was very early MP3, where we would rip off the WAV files and turn them into MP3. I had about 16 computers in my apartment, and all my guys would come in. So that was before iTunes and everything. So I got into very kind of innovative technology, and I got the taste for it and the love for it. So anyway, I came back to Ireland then in 2000, and I'd set up a couple of web development companies and that. But interestingly enough, hooked up with a partner of mine, and we developed a company whereby we would try to track people taking data off laptops. So it was we would infect the laptops and that type of thing with tracking software. So raised a bit of funds in that, and then basically that didn't go great because of various issues and crashes and things. So jumped out of that, and that's where I got into security essentially. Innovate Out basically has a couple of different areas. One of the areas is security, where I work with a partner of mine who owns Sovereign Systems, and that is primarily targeted at military, first responders, police, primarily in the area of mesh, IP mesh technology, where we represent various providers of technology, and we would act as an integrator, but more so a conduit to the buying organizations in various government agencies and police outfits are enterprises. So that's kind of what I do from a day-to-day point of view. Then I got into AI, and I'm involved in a very exciting program right now with the CEO of a Canadian company, whereby we're just going for FDA approval on a rapid AI-driven antigen test. So we have a lot of interest from around the world. So my job is to find essentially distributors and bring them on and bring them forward and get everybody excited about it and all that type of thing. Sell, sell, sell.
Nice. No, very good. Okay. No, that's a lot of stuff. Okay. So, Stefano,
Yes,
how
sir.
does the Noosphere apprentice program work? We talked a little bit about it yesterday, right?
With Noosphere is trying to address a very, very serious problem we have currently coming upon us. It's the digital transformations happening currently across the world, right? We're going to have unemployment happening substantially. We talk about that. In COVID-19, in a way, it has accelerated. I was listening to Gerd, the futurist. He said COVID-19 has basically skipped 3 to 5 years ahead in digital acceleration, right? So, but the problem is there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be affected, disenfranchised. So, it's a big problem. How do I adapt these people? How do we get these people to gain back traction in this world? Because, it's becoming ever more increasing, more difficult, right? You have millions of people dying, millions of people are losing jobs. The university system, the 2, 4, 6, 8, 12-year programs are not catching up this rampant movement of technology that we're going at a constant integration, constant delivery pace, right? The human's not designed for that. So Noosphere is looking at this, and we were looking at the apprenticeship program the Department of Labor is doing, right? And the Department of Labor adapted this technology or this methodology of training because the reality is different now. We cannot go through university systems that are obsolete, and they're leaving the person obsolete at the end of the work. If you look, when I worked in Bell Labs or Verizon or any of these large corporations, when you work with them, you go through this constant integration, constant delivery of training every week. And you are mentored and trained inside the company. You never touch the university no longer. You're receiving 200-300 hours of training that's happening that, and that's how you deliver constantly as you develop your services and solutions. But when you are disenfranchised from that business, you cannot do that. The programs are not designed to do that. So Noosphere basically readjusts that constant integration, constant delivery through the apprenticeship program and bringing the industry and helping and bringing the people back to work, because that's what's needed right now. And so that's what Noosphere is all about.
Excellent. Let's see here. I'm going to go to Cormac. So we also have strategic partnerships with Sovereign Systems. How much do you deal with security integration? I guess tech integration generally in that role.
Yeah. More likely, we kind of need to know the technology fairly in-depthly. However, we would deal with integrators. So we would bring on integrators in country. I look after Europe, some of Latin America. My partner looks after Southeast Asia mostly. So we would go and find integrators and develop relationships with them. And then we would show them the product. In my office here, I have about $30,000 to $40,000 worth of IP radios and stuff that I was ready to bring to various parts of Europe to show guys, and then COVID hit, so I still have them all here. So these would be kind of the newest, latest, greatest IP radios for first responders in various different frequencies that they're looking for. So we would show them the kit, we would set it all up, we would do demos for them, and then we would go to their actual clients with them, and then they would be the integration or the delivery partner in country. So that would be for that type of technology. For other types of technology, such as the tracking or the surveillance technology, a lot of that would be, we would bring them along and then we would hand them over on Zoom conferences to the actual clients. So we would do a lot of that Zoom conference, and then the demos would happen from the actual guys who had created the technologies. So that's kind of my job, is to basically make it all come together and bring the parties together to get interested, and then bring them over the line, essentially.
Right on. Okay. And so to get back, Stefano, with Noosphere, how do you see use of blockchain? What's your primary, and why have you started talking to Dragonchain in particular, right? The whole blockchain question.
So blockchain brings an architecture that creates an incredible dynamic, right? If we talk about frictionless, trusted, secure time to execution, smart contracts create a different dynamic also how things are done, right? It can create with AI a dynamic that we never had, right? It's a composite architecture. I like to call it a composite architecture that in a format that can be unbeatable for next-gen ecosystems, and that's where Noosphere is at.
Okay, yeah, because we were talking recently with you about use of the Academy, Lyceum, right? The ability to do educational certifications and to plug that into all of the other behavioral, the incentives for human behavior, right?
Right. No, absolutely. I think everything is compensation drives behavior, right? And how you make money and how you create a value to yourself. It's going to be everything about the future. In Web 3.0, the web is supposed to pay you back. In Web 2.0, you consume, but Web 3.0, and how you're going to be able to accomplish that, right? So that trust system, that system that verifies your capabilities, has to be there, right? And blockchain can create that persona, that identity, right? That can create that trust level that can elevate how you interact in the future, right? Because now remote services due to COVID has created this forced digital transformation, right? And digital services are fast becoming essential, not maybe a future. And that's why Bitcoin, all these things are going ballistic because of all this necessity, and that's becoming fast essential. It's not may want to have it, but it's essential now.
Right. Okay, excellent. And that's all true. That's all. Everything that's coming is going to have something to do with crypto. Cormac, how does blockchain play a role in all of the things that you're looking at in your world?
Well, I would be looking at it from more, I suppose, secure identities from a secure point of view, security point of view. So I'll be looking at your factor application for defederalized identity, particularly in the space of identity theft, whereby there's been leaks of non-secure, let's call it, identity collection or collation from the likes of Twitter and Facebook and that type of thing, and dumps onto the darknet. So with the blockchain factor, particularly like you've developed, I know you've spin it off to MiFi, but that is something very, very important from our point of view, from securing identities, whereby you don't have to have your mother's maiden name and your birth date and your place and everything. That's just ridiculous. It's such old hat, and banks and everybody else are asking for this, and mortgage companies are asking for it every time, and it's just so old hat, and it doesn't need to be like that. And I think blockchain is the answer to that, for sure. In privacy, and GDPR, does it work? Sometimes do companies adhere to it? Not really, a lot of the time. And I think with blockchain, they don't have a choice, and that's what I love about blockchain in that area.
Right.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
Identity is huge, right? So
yeah,
massive.
Right.
I think identity, and especially sovereign identity, is going to be essential in the future, because think of a farmer that has a special skill in Ghana, Africa, and you can pay him, but he doesn't have bank. You can go with DNA. Boop. That's your identity. That's your form of payment with your GPS and so forth. So identity, eventually, it's going to become essential for method of payment. Because if we go digital, how do I identify the person it is? And how they can steal, and all the security goes back to that. So identity is essential for everything we're going to be doing.
Like
we're by the way, too.
Yeah, we're working on the AI antigen thing I was telling you about. So when people test negative or positive, so hopefully most people will test negative, but the people who test positive, where does their data go, and how much data do they need to go then into the tracking system that could be connected via the API over to the CDC database? And so how much information would those people need, and do they need all the information? So these are kind of like really interesting questions going forward, particularly in the era of COVID, when people are looking to have new vaccine passports and testing passports and all this type of thing. So unless we're careful, there'll be a lot of identity information out there that's not being secured correctly, and I think blockchain is the future of that, and particularly what you guys created.
Yes, I agree, and it's a big part of it too is the ability for normal people to use it, not just technophiles. That's one of the big goals for us, to make it very grandma friendly. So it's kind of a I guess a holy grail, but it's we think it's doable. So okay, so I'm going to ask Stefano. Where can people follow what you're doing as Labs rolls out? Well,
as we discussed this, we're in the beginning of this launching, and I'm going to be posting in LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile, where's this going? Right? I'm easy to follow. My name is unique in the world. So you type Stefano Gulbalis, you find me, and that's a limit of a problem.
That's good.
Identity issue there. Yeah. I cannot run away, but I'm trying to build this thing. So as we're speaking. So.
Excellent. Okay, we'll be hopefully we'll be working together, and we'll at least post stuff too. So excellent. Very good. Very good. Cormac, how about you? Where should people go to follow you and what you're doing?
I'd probably keep myself a little bit behind the clients that.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah,
he froze. Well, he's anyway. We'll say bye. Oh, we lost you, Cormac, at the very end. You froze up. I swear he moved for a minute there. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Okay, well, no worries.
It's my kid. He's on playing Fortnite. That's why I'm pulling the whole thing down.
Yeah, you have too much lag over here. Okay, so we'll just say bye, and we'll keep everybody up to date. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Talking about things. All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Take it
okay,
easy.
so
Bye-bye.
Thank you for.
So next up, we're going to be right back with Eric, and be ready with questions for an AMA about Den.
Op sociale mediaplatforms vandaag de dag gaat kwaliteitsinhoud vaak onopgemerkt voorbij. Op den krijgen gebruikers betaald voor het maken, evalueren en beheren van kwaliteitsinhoud. Contentmakers worden beloond op basis van de betrokkenheid en het bereik van hun bericht of opmerking. Contentbeoordelaars worden beloond op basis van de snelheid en resultaten van hun voorspellingen over welke content trending zal zijn of viraal zal gaan. Eigenaren van communities worden beloond op basis van betrokkenheid binnen een community. Kwaliteitsinhoud loont op den.
All right, we're back. Welcome, Eric T., one of our developers.
Hey, Jeff.
Whose lights just went out. He's on a short fuse.
I can remember the length of that commercial. So,
Bitterballen. It's just all about Bitterballen and what are the little pancakes? I can't remember what you call those.
I couldn't really understand either, so I didn't know what was going on.
It's good. It's good stuff. Our highest concentration of Dragonchain community, right, in the Netherlands. So,
oh my goodness.
Special things for the Netherlands. It's a good place. Okay. So Den updates. If anybody has any questions for Eric or me about Den, post them in the comments, and we'll try to get to them if they're polite. Right, Eric?
I'll try to answer anything. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
Whatever.
Just want to give us an ability if we don't want to answer something. Okay, the first up, some updates so that people understand fully, because we probably don't say this enough. Den is an independent entity, right? It's not Dragonchain, so it is a separate entity. It's going to have separate governance. It's going to have a lot of very interesting stuff with the governance. The Dragon Company is part owner of Den. Okay, Dragon Company is working with Den to implement most of the platform, right? There are a few other people that are working stuff outside of Dragonchain, but all actions on Den are, though, Dragonchain, DragonNet transactions. So that's every vote, every post, every reply. I'm trying to think anything else. I think there are a few other things. I think the minting gets placed on chain too, things like that. So anyway, right. It's all on chain, all the important stuff. Next, Matter deposits are live. This was last week, but still good to let people know about it. You can deposit matter from the outside to produce more energy. There is more matter utility on the way. We will have the ability to boost posts with actual matter coming soon, and matter metrics will be live soon. I don't think they're up yet.
I think that's live. How do I see it?
Let's look.
How would I see that?
Let's look.
You let me know, and if it's not,
I think you're supposed to go to your profile, and I don't see it yet. But
okay, just a minute, and I'll push that up so we can demo it.
Okay, cool. That would be awesome. Watch.
Yeah, we pushed it up last night. I just forgot to clear the cache, so just a moment.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, next up, we'll I'll talk about. Let's see here. There's a new LCP happening right now. Okay, so it's the Dragon Energy Edition LCP, and basically we're running it. I guess the voting starts Thursday morning, Pacific time anyway, and we'll run for 12 hours. Right now, you can make proposals for new layers, and the way it works is we're gonna pick 3 new layers based upon your voting, and those 3 layers will be created, and anyone who voted on them with energy will get the same amount of lot as a part ownership of that layer. So you're going to want to basically try to evaluate them, even ask questions right now while you can of the people who made the proposals, to see, if you have questions about vision or participation, things like that, then you can choose them. You throw in energy. And right now we're doing energy, of course, while we're waiting for Eric and the team to have lore out and available. But we decided to do one real quick just so people get a feel for how it works, the process itself.
And it's a free lot, right? So they're not going to have to spend their lore.
Right. You want to spend lore for this. That's kind of the... That's what we did in the beta. That's how most of the layers that we have were created. And with this, it's an interesting way to get a feel for the process. So the more matter you have, obviously, the better. But, you know, you have... It's going to be an interesting thing because I think people won't be voting that day because they're going to be all voting on the posts. Which is actually it's good. It's a good way to get some matter just from the content. I guess if you made a proposal, you're going to get hopefully a lot of votes. And anyway, the people that are the layers that aren't created, nothing happens. You know, you can propose again for the next time we do an LCP, and hopefully it'll be with lore. But you know, if it's too much time, we'll probably do another one with energy.
It should be with lore, right?
Hopefully. I mean, the voting and everything, so it'd be pretty nice. Let's see here. What else do I need to say? There are. Last night there were over 28. I don't know how many there are now. There were a lot of proposals. There were a couple of them that were redundant. So if you see anything redundant, it might make sense to combine them. You know, we can figure that out if you want. Ooh, it's deleted by owner. Oh man. Either way, it should be pretty good, and I don't know when they'll be created. Probably the week after. Probably next week. I would assume we'd make these new layers. So, and we are also there is a bonus that the number one pick is going to get 1,000 bonus, a lot for whoever made the proposal. The number 2 will get 500. And the number 3 will get 250. I think that's right. Is that the right number? Is it 1,000? 1,500, 250. Okay. And the what else? The other bit is that Din will be putting in also 1,000 lore on all of the 3 winning layers. So, and we're going to use that to promote later. We have an idea for how we're going to be promoting the LCP process in the future, so we have that in there. So anyway, go on there, check out the proposals. If there's anything major missing, add it, and otherwise get ready to vote. Be prepared with all of your energy. How's the cache working, Eric?
Oh, well, I pushed out the update. I reset the cache. I personally don't even know how to get to it, though.
I think it's in
Maybe
your profile.
You do.
I thought it was in your profile,
/E
but I only saw a demo.
Matter /payouts. Let's see. Oh, there it is.
You share your screen? Can you?
Sure. I don't. Maybe we didn't link it anywhere. Well, that's sad. Just a minute.
Maybe not. Maybe
Here,
not.
I'll ping you the.
Yeah.
The link. There you go.
Okay. Let's see here.
Oh, it is there. There it is. Payouts. Very cool.
Where's that?
You'll want to send the link out. Just look at the link I sent to you.
Where at?
Slack.
Okay, thank you. Too much. Slack is horrible. We all agree, right? I think everybody
Slack
agrees.
is the worst.
Slack
They're being bought actually by who's buying them? Someone's buying Slack.
Wow. Okay. Here, I'll share my screen here real quick if that's all right. Let's see.
We may have forgot to put the button on profile. That's probably the issue here. So we can get that added later today.
Okay. So there will be a button there, but for right now it is din.social/e/mtr/payouts. And so you can go through in here and see, and you can see that the total amount of energy, the total amount of positive energy that you have received for any given day. Is that right, or is that the total? Anyway, this is the important part. If it pops up, come on. Okay, here we go. So this is what you'll get is a section on layer rewards, and this will be prettied up later, right? This is plain text, as simple as we could get it, just to get it out. So for the Dragonchain layer, I earned 18 matter, right? For the politics layer, I earned 8.7 matter, and it gives you, here's unique upvoters, how many downvote, 2 energy from 5 negative from 5 unique downvoters, and then you can see how many posts, how many replies, and that we got 26.4 energy from the posts that were made. Cryptocurrency layer, let's see here. Then you go to content rewards. So new LCP up and ready for proposals. Total energy was 3,072. I got 72 matter from that. That's pretty good. Let's see here. You see the fees. I get fees in that post from the replies to the post and the replies to the replies.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting stuff there. Then we get down to all of the replies that I made, and I got a very, very small thousandth of a matter from a reply in the information about your reputation. I probably answered a question. Somebody probably upvoted me like 2 or 3 or something like that. It's something small either way. And then we have evaluation rewards. I got 0. I found no. I've totally failed yesterday in selecting the best content. So that will be later broken down, so you'll see which posts went viral that went to trending that you voted on. We're probably going to add that when we add the downtrend rewards.
Why is no one downvoting your stuff, Joe? I'm seeing downvotes for mine. Jeez, guys.
Well, and right now, I think the only reason people downvote is for to contribute back to the community. Mm-hmm. But we will soon have downtrend rewards. So if you pick the best stuff, you can throw a lot of energy at it and reap the rewards if everybody else agrees that it's bad. There are some bad posts out there. I try to still be polite lately, right? But when we turn on that downtrend, it's going to be there's going to be a real reward for it. So okay, excellent. So go back to Blake's screen. Let's see here, header deposits, LCP. So I think if you have any questions about the LCP, do ask now, because there were some early on. I had to add in the note, please review all other proposals before you add a new one, because there were some redundant ones. And no worries if it's fine-tuned. I like that, but I want to do something a little different. But people will decide. Okay, so now we talk about lore snapshot. It happened at block height 11,365,640. So
Did that happen
last
yet?
night. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
It was, I think it
should
was
have.
early in the morning, very early in the morning. So there it is. So let's see here. How long are we expecting before you'll probably be able to see the lore in your wallet?
Yes, it's probably going to take at least a day, maybe a day and a half for me to do the snapshot to actually get the numbers. We have to traverse from the origin block for dragons to that block there. So when that occurs, my laptop's going to pretty much be frozen because it does take up quite a bit of power. So we'll hopefully have that out by the end of the week, if not, the beginning of the following. Okay. And those, just to remind everyone, those lore will be locked inside of a new contract we're working on, which is the lock contract. And you'll be able to use those and spend lore on creating new layers through LCP. And then also, if you have lore on the outside, you'll be able to use lore. Like if you just have it on Ethereum, you've purchased it, you've earned it through farming, you'll be able to do signaling, right? So you'll be able to signal which layer in the LCP process you want to win, or you're going to put your support behind. And that is going to be without having to send lore in to Den. It'll just be on Ethereum, and you'll just be able to natively interact with it pretty easily. I might be able to demo that if we have time. But
it'd be nice to see it. Right?
Working out the final little bugs or little kinks in the process as we're testing in Rinkeby. But yeah, so we pushed that out, with lore out last week, I think is when I did it. And we have, I think, when I push everything out, it was like 8 new contracts that we did. That was actually part of when we updated the matter to be able to transfer it into DIN. And that's a decentralized process, so it's trustless. So it goes to a smart contract, and the matter that you send there is just locked, right? We don't have access to it. We can withdraw it and put it in a new contract for withdrawal, but we would inform everyone of that when that does occur. So
right, and for lore, so everybody knows, it is not a classic airdrop, and we specifically couldn't do that in the U.S. That the point of it is that it is utility, and it is a snapshot from Dragon, and like Eric said, it's locked away. They are real lore, but they're locked in the contract, specifically in the Dragon holder pool, and that you'll be able to use them for the LCP, obviously, and
there it goes.
for the also to create layers if it's a B2B layer that you would be able to say, yeah, I want to create a layer for my business. Right? You can do that too, and so all those are usable. It'll be an interesting thing because there will therefore be enough at hand. And when you say, so if I have lore on the outside, let's say I farm some in a few weeks. By the way, farming should be, I don't know if you know when, but should be live.
Yeah.
After lot, right?
That's a big one. It's after lot. So and the reason why farming is really that last step, and that last piece of the puzzle is simply because we need to prove that the lure that is already distributed is locked. We don't want the perception that we're going to sell off tokens, that we're going to move tokens around, and that we have access to, 2.9 million or trillion?
Billion.
I don't know. It's a big number. Billion. 2.9 billion. We don't have access to nearly any of those. They're all going to be locked away inside of smart contracts on Ethereum.
Right.
And that's what most of those contracts are for that I deployed last week. And one of those is for like our team, the vesting there. Another one is for DIN business as an entity.
Do you know?
And I can show those to you.
Yeah, if you even knew the percentages or how.
Let me pull up the percentages. That one was a tricky thing to do.
Yeah, because all the team lore totally locked up. We don't even as the team itself doesn't get any. Is it for 30 or 60 days?
It's for 60 days. It's a 60-day cliff, or 60-day vesting with a 2-year cliff.
Yes, and so so that's all locked up. DIN itself, even the operational account, we have enough to do a few, maybe only one LCP before one turns on. Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
I have the percentages. So Dragon holders will be getting 14.6%. DIN will receive 15%, and that's the DIN entity. However, at first, and I don't remember, I need to find the other number, but we're not getting those right away. And that's a vesting over 5 years.
Yeah.
Whereas we do get a small amount up front so that we can do, create layers specifically for this new LCP process that is ongoing. The team is going to receive 10% with the vesting over 2 years. What is interesting about the team tokens is that it does carry a 60-day vesting period. So cliff is, I always get that mixed up, but
cliff is 60, I think. Yeah,
the cliff is 60 and total vesting for 2 years.
Yeah.
The benefit there is that there are some unallocated team tokens. Those as well are locked inside of the vesting contract. I know that there's some like goodwill tokens that we're going to be giving away, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's some of it could be based upon what the community wants to do, those sorts of things. But they're locked. So let's say that if a team member leaves, right, the tokens that they haven't earned will go back to that same vesting contract. And we, again, don't have access to those, and we'll, again, vest those. And that contract is open and viewable on Etherscan, so anybody can view that. Beta users, I think we allocated about 0.4% to beta users. And to the community, and now this is kind of interesting, is the community receives 60% of all tokens. And that's over I think about a 5-year period. Phase 1 is going to be the farming. That's our farming phase, which is going to start again probably in a week or two. We'll again do a notice of that. And we're going to allocate half of those tokens. So 30% of the tokens will be distributed for the community from that pool up front. And those will be vested or earned and farmed over a 60 to 90-day period. We haven't quite decided on that final number yet, but we're following the Uniswap model where there's separate community allocated pools or buckets of tokens over the next 4 years. So we have those contracts out as well. So those will be publicly viewable, and you can verify that the tokens are locked. And then we have some for existing layers and those sorts of things, but it's very, very small numbers that are going to come from the DEN business account. But yeah, we'll probably do a write-up, I'm sure, about all of the contracts that are out there. I think right now we're up to like 13 or so contracts just for DEN, and there's 3 more that are going to go out here in the next probably day or two. Not including the farming. So I think there's about 20 contracts in total when you look at DEN as a whole. So when you look at the Ethereum side of DEN, it's a pretty big beast of that's out there, and it just integrates really well with the whole concept.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with. So I mean, everything's been running really smoothly. You know, we updated the Matter contract, so the minting is better than it was. You know, more
yeah, that's been going really well.
Yeah,
let's take a look at that actually.
It's amazing because if it doesn't mint one night, the next night it'll mint for both nights. So it's
and you guys should I can share my screen. I'm sharing it now if you wanted to switch screens.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, there it is. Am I sharing the wrong screen? Just a moment.
No worries.
It might make sense why my screen wasn't being shared. All right, so there we go. So Matter is up to 314,000. And you can see that what we're doing is we're minting. So what is really interesting is you have Matter as the contract with a cap. Joe would know the cap better than I would. But then you have this Matter minting contract, which keeps track for itself how many times it's been minted, how many times it's ran. We can kind of validate and go back and see what's been happening throughout the cycle of minting. There was one day when there was a bug with Impura, where I guess it was like that soft fork that occurred right here actually, and minting failed. It's kind of interesting to look at because it says that it's too late, even though the transaction was published to Ethereum, to the network beforehand. Before the timeline passed, it did start and finish after, so it got confirmed 3 hours after being sent to the network, so that was too late. It missed it by 11 minutes, and we can see that nothing was minted since it was reverted, but the very next day, it minted 2,000.
So it's 1,000 a day. It's 433, 494, 437 million. So it's the same. It's the Fibonacci prime, same as Dragons, and 1,000 a day lasts a long time. So it's an interesting piece, and the fact that we can do that is it's super nice. And let's see here. What else do we have? So a week or two for lore. Okay.
Yeah, we can look at lore too. Let me see. I have the contract here for lore. Let me just pull it up as well, just so you guys can see it again. Wrong window. So this is the lore contract or the lore token. We don't have the vanity, icon or or anything such as that right now. I have to work with Etherscan to get that in. But you can see that total supply is here. And if we look at the holders, most of the holders are contracts. This little icon here would indicate that it is a contract. So we have 7 contracts holding it, with the DIN deployer holding 52%. And that's going to change as soon as we get the final contract in place, which is lot. Most of that is going to go over to the community. And that'll be a good thing, and you guys will be able to see that. And if we look at it, it's going to be a lot. So we'll be putting that over there to the community for farming, and that's that.
Nice. And farming, do we want to go over, or do we want to hold off what will be available?
Well, we can do a brief overview. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me let me see if I can find it real quick though. But we're going to do farming a couple different ways. You're going to be using, let's see, do you have that up, Joe?
No. If we know the things, the actions, that's probably enough. If we don't know the numbers, that'll be
right. Don't know the numbers, but what we can go over is what we would perceive as what you'll be able to use for farming. You're going to be able to use dragon tokens, right? So you'll be able to farm lore with dragon tokens. The reward for farming with dragon tokens is going to be lower than others. Oh, here it is. I did find it. Just give me one moment.
No worries.
I'm going to show a lot of contracts on the screen, contact addresses, so it's okay, no problem, guys. So if you want to copy these, it's public. So we're going to do 20% of the rewards are going to be for dragon holders. What we want to also do is incentivize people for providing liquidity. So we've kind of been alluding to this for the past month or so, ever since Matter was out, even possibly before. But the next bucket of tokens is going to be allocated at 25% for anyone providing Dragon ETH liquidity to Uniswap. And we've gone over last week how to do that. There's a lot of tutorials out that Uniswap even has, a lot of videos that you can learn how to add liquidity if you don't know how. The next incentive is going to be for lore. So you're going to want to provide liquidity to Uniswap again on the lore ETH pair, and that's going to be 25% as well. And the most incentivized pool or bucket of rewards will be for those providing liquidity to Matter and ETH. And that's going to be because where we really see the value of DEN is that Matter token, because that's what you're going to be earning, and that's what you're going to be spending inside of the DEN ecosystem. So we want to provide as much liquidity as possible and provide as many incentives as possible for those providing liquidity. And I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we talked about another incentive, which would be that 2021 governance layer, where we create, I don't know what the number is at the moment, but that's another incentive. So you'll be able to lock up Ethereum and Matter, again, lock up that liquidity, and you can mint or create one of the tokens or lot tokens, which represents your share of ownership or governance or votes for DEN. And how that's going to work out, we're still sorting it out, but it's going to be a really interesting way and kind of a test to see, do people value governing the system, right? So we want to see what's going to happen there, and I think that's going to be quite interesting with a couple of experiments we've run in the past. Gone pretty well with NFTs and such.
Right. It's going to be amazing, because we're going to be, so everybody knows, we're going to use a layer to handle the governance. So proposals and changes to the system will go through that layer, and the governance of that layer will be by its owners. We expect right now that we're going to have a different governance layer every year, and so people will be able to get into it, both from the primary one, probably the most important one, is what Eric just mentioned, is based upon some provision of liquidity somewhere that you'll get lot for it over time. And the others will be by having other lot and having Matter, and then the board will have votes as well. And so it'll be an interesting thing, and we might not do all of them at once. We're probably going to phase it in. So we'll start with likely this liquidity piece, because it's it's important that the people who are doing that have some say. They have they have input into into the governance of everything. So, and we're going to use that same governance capability for that layer for any layer, because it was kind of the unsolved question. If you have 15 owners of your layer, who can set the reputation settings, right? And I think right now what we're going to do is make it so that the largest holder is the one that can set those settings, but in the future we're going to have this governance mechanism so that you can set something simple so that you can vote with lot of the layer. So right, anyway
Looks like matter's going up, so that's good.
Tim Miller, how do we receive lot from the lore? So I'll talk like the high level, and then you can talk about the details and how how everything actually happens. But basically, you can receive lot one of two main ways. The first is a business, B2B. That's funny. A B2B layer where it's, I literally need a layer for my business. You can come in and say, I want to create this. Here's my lore. We don't have all the pricing done. If you do that, the intent is to have a monthly fee. So you basically pay every month for the layer, unless it's an extremely active layer. If you create a layer that gets enough activity, then you aren't charged. It'll be a scaled system. But the more general way, the more organic way, is that we have this LCP, this layer creation process, where we have a timed period where people make proposals every month, and in a timed period where everybody votes on them with lore. And instead of it being, a lot of people misunderstood that, I'm bidding up on that layer, and so I own all of it. It isn't that at all. It is that anyone who puts lore in on one of the winning layers gets lot 1-to-1 for the amount of lore they put in. And that way we get an even distribution of incentives to get that layer moving. To basically have automatically you have a community involved, core community of owners, and then they have people they bring in, and they can actually share some of their ownership or sell some of their ownership, for that matter. And everything is going to be tied to those NFTs, and the NFTs will be traceable back through that. And tell me if this is wrong, because I know I saw way back, Eric, you guys had the OpenSea integrations, and that the OpenSea integrations can actually call out to Den and ask what is the average daily matter production of this layer, so they know. Yes. They know generally if I buy 25 lot from this person for the cryptocurrency layer, let's say, that means I should expect to get about this amount of matter every day, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to that level, but I do know that we have metadata which will show some information about earned matter and kind of your percentages there. Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be an interesting piece, because that's already built in, so that it's not going to be up to Den. It's totally on you. It's an NFT. It's totally decentralized. It's yours. It's whatever you want to do with it. And we do have the intent, like say right now, you can of course, if you have a community, you give a lot away to the people who are helping you moderate. As an example, we might have a way later to proxy that, where you can give someone admin control without actually giving them lot, because there are some cases you might want to do that with, if you've hired someone to moderate for you or something. So all of that's coming in. Let's see here, and so the details, though, getting the lot from the lore, it just happens. I mean, you throw the lore into the smart contract, and if you have the demo of that on the user interface, or if you don't, we can show that later.
Yes, I don't have it on the user interface, but I can show how to use the Lcp Signaling Contract. Let me find that real quick in my list of contracts here. One moment.
In the meantime, Mike Iannuzzi, ETA for mobile app on the App Store. I've been using it almost exclusively. I told the team the only thing that I can't use it for right now is it doesn't have the embedded videos and it doesn't have edits, I think. So everything's moving along really fast there. If you are in the fellowship, Dragon Fellowship, you can get in the beta program and play with it as well. We do want feedback. I think I'm going to talk to the team this week and see when they're comfortable putting it out for the public beta. But soon thereafter, I would expect. And who knows how long it'll take them to approve it. But hopefully we'll have that ready soon. It's nice for the notifications, and it's nice and smooth. Let's see here.
And then let's go back to one of the original questions about how do you get lot.
Yes.
We are adding to DEN the ability to claim lots. So lots in general, if you like for the layers that exist now, those are going to be minted and sent to a single address, which is going to be what I just dubbed it the lot store, but really a storage is probably a better term, and it's going to be where we store all of the lot that has yet to be claimed by someone who has not claimed their address in DEN, or actually any internal lot, right, that you haven't withdrawn and you hold on your own hardware. It's going to be inside of DEN. It's going to be that address. Just like you claim, I'm on Rinkeby, but just like you would transfer matter, I won't be able to do this because I'm on Rinkeby. I need to stay on Rinkeby, but you can't. Well, I'll just switch real quick. Mainnet unlock. Just like you can do this, and you can send internal matter to the outside to Ethereum. It's going to be a lot simpler. It's going to say you're going to have a list of layers down here, below, probably right here, maybe below or above claimed addresses, I think. And you're going to be able to claim. There's going to be a button that says claim. You'll be taken to a screen that looks similar to this without all this. It's just going to say claim. And it will just make sure that you've claimed your address. And then once you do that, it'll just transfer the lot to the address that you have connected. And what we're going to do is we're going to monitor all the events on Ethereum in DEN. So if you were to sell that lot on OpenSea, then you no longer have ownership of that layer, and it would be reflected within DEN that you no longer own the layer, but that the person who you sold it to now owns the layer. So we're working on that as well, which is a pretty big step to get that done. So we're getting closer.
Do you know, in that, like, let's say I sell a lot to you, and you leave it sitting, you transfer it to your hardware wallet, wherever it's at, and it's sitting there. If you haven't claimed it, are you getting a piece of the action in that layer during that time? Okay.
Yeah, you would. So the only difference is that it doesn't reflect to their user account because they don't have one. But when they go and actually claim the wallet or claim the address that the lot is sitting in, they'll be able to obtain all of the earned matter for that layer.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So it could theoretically sit there and you could have that lot without having an account yet, and so I could buy it, let it sit there,
sure,
and go get. Wow, that's interesting. What happens when that lot is sitting? Oh, when it's an OpenSea, you're still holding it in your hardware wallet, right? So it's
you're still holding it. Yeah, and again, we would encourage anyone to use a hardware wallet or MetaMask. Just a word of caution.
Right. Very good. Very good. Okay, there was one more question. Okay, how addresses will be validated? The claim process. There were a couple of problems with the signing for ledgers. Was it only ledgers?
There's a MetaMask doesn't support. Well, actually, Ledger and Trezor do not support the signing of messages in the way that we did it. I just actually signed the message with OpenSea, so I don't know the issue, but we're going to get that fixed.
Okay.
It shouldn't be too long. Right now there's not a need to claim your wallet. So what I would encourage you not to do is transfer Dragons to another address just to be able to claim an address with Dragons. It doesn't matter. We're going to fix the bug, and then you'll be able to claim with your hardware wallet. My Dragons are on a hardware wallet, and it's okay. I need to get it fixed for myself as much as we want to get it fixed for you. So just don't transfer Dragons just so you can claim the address, right? So,
right.
And it's past the snapshot, so no need to do it now.
Yes. And there were some people that asked questions about paper wallets, and I had some ideas, but just be careful with paper wallets.
Yep.
Yep.
Please be careful with paper wallets.
Yeah. It's very, it's very risky, very dangerous. And we want to make sure everything's safe. So we'll try to help. But the great thing is that snapshot means as long as you still have control over the keys to that address, you should be able to get it at any time. So
right,
be patient, make sure you're doing the right thing. Do we have any other questions? Let's see here. App Store. We are also going to be. We do have a couple of things where Den has, say, we created the cryptocurrency layer and the tech layer, I think, just as generic layers, knowing we would need them, that we're going to basically, sell ownership of those to get more people in the mix, and we'll do that on OpenSea. So I'll have questions for you, Eric, later.
But OpenSea is really cool. I've been using it for other projects, and they're a really good team. They've actually put out some really good updates over the past little bit.
Right on.
So I can actually possibly give you guys a little taste of what's to come on OpenSea.
Sure.
If you want, Joe.
That'd be amazing.
Yep. Give me just a second. Obviously, there's a few things we're working out, so bear with us as I work through all the bugs. The OpenSea is really the last and final step of any NFT. Getting integration and making sure it works with OpenSea is critical. So I've been actually toying around while we've been chatting with OpenSea, and you might actually start to see, and this is on Rinkeby, not on test. It's on a test net on Ethereum network, but you can see here that we actually have layers created, and I'm just updating the metadata. Really cool features that they have. They actually cache all of the metadata and the images. Very nice for us, so we don't have to pay for all the bandwidth. So we can take a look here. You can see the properties right now, not too much. It's like public, LCP. You can see the stats. Oh, we do have average matter earned daily.
Yes, that's
get back to that. Where did that go? Well, let's look at memes. I don't know where I just placed that. There it is. Politics, that's a good one. All right, so then the stats, you have, the average matter earned daily. So it's dynamic. So as it's updated every day, this is going to update as well. The number of subscribers, again, is updated daily. And if you're here and you're like, well, this looks out of date, you just come up here, press refresh, and it will refresh the metadata. It's a pretty cool feature. Let's take a look. That should be it, right? So we have, it's public, it's LCP, average matter mined daily, the number of subscribers, and the date that the layer was created.
Nice. So nice. Does it tell you how many total lot is in that layer?
It doesn't look like it. So what we'll do is we'll add that to the metadata, to the properties. So you will see another stat here, total supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I mean, this is that's one of the, at least for me, one of the interesting pieces, because you're going to have some layers that have very, very small supply of lot and some that have a lot, and it's going to be very, very interesting how that all works out. And by the way, when you go through the LCP process, you can't add more lot. So when they are
Right.
created, that's it. If you create a business one, you can come in and buy more lot because it's you own it. So you can do whatever you want with it. But with the LCP ones, they're frozen. So if you don't get in at the beginning, you can go and buy a lot later, but you can't. They'll never be made for that layer again. So it'll be pretty cool.
I guess that's me. Yeah, and this is me. Oh, this is the DIN store, actually. So this is the store. So I could show you how to do offers and all that, but I'm not going to switch over my hardware to where MetaMask to use that.
That's all right. That's all right. That'll be for later. When we have all that ready, we can we can come on and demo it.
And then if you look at, let's do one more thing. My goodness, Pluto. So if you look at one more item here, this is really interesting as well. So you have the lure locked inside of the lot contract, so layer ownership token contract, and this is the NFT contract. So one of the things that you don't want to be alarmed about is you're not going to see your 1155 tokens. This is not specific to DEN. It's specific to all 1155 tokens. You're not going to see them in Etherscan. The best place to see them right now is OpenSea, or I think there's a MetaMask wallet on your phone. It will show up there too. But hopefully Etherscan provides support for 1155. But you can come here and see, this is a lot of functions here to view data. And Joe mentioned that for the LCP layers, that there's going to be a fixed supply. You can't mint them anymore. So let's kind of take a look at that. So politics, is that LCP? Yeah. So it's ID of 10. So is LCP, oh, oops, that's not the right one. So mintable, we can do ID 10, and we can see that it's false, meaning mintable means that you can't mint it, right? So it's mintable true, which can be, mintable false cannot be. So it's kind of an example there of what that would look like. And the LCP process is really, really simple now. We went through a time where it was going to be a little bit more complex, but at the moment, it's just like any type of staking contract. This is the LCP signaling contract, and the reason I know that's LCP signaling here, very straightforward. I could signal that I want to support a layer, and all you have to do is say what ID you want, so say 500. Amount of tokens, so 18 zeros, so it's 50. Sometimes on mainnet it should show up here of how many you're trying to deposit. And then let me sign this message on my hardware wallet. And what I'm doing is I'm signaling that ID 50, whatever layer that ID 500, whatever layer that represents inside of DEN, I'm going to send in 50 lure tokens.
And we'll have a UI.
Oh, there'll be a nice UI. Yeah,
it'll be pretty.
Absolutely.
Because people have seen, I think some people have seen the screenshot of the farming UI, right? And it's gorgeous, right? It's just it's very simple. You have to have your hardware wallet or integration, MetaMask, whatever, but it's very straightforward. I mean, you'll be able to say, okay, here's this, and you can interact with that contract. So
yeah, and you can see we have 500 here, and a lot of things happen, but you can deposit and withdraw at any time, up until the point where we actually generate the lot. So it's pretty cool.
And then after, by the way, something that should be asked, if you are committed to a layer, let's say you put in 1,000 lore for a particular proposal, and it does not win. So the others created, you're standing there, it's like, oh, this sucks. That the lore will remain there. You can withdraw it if you want at any time. You can leave it there for the next month, the next process. But generally, if it has not won and has not resulted in the creation of a new layer, then you can still pull your tokens out. So it's all good.
Right. Yeah, you can leave it there, and that would be fine. The other thing you could do is just withdraw it. It'd be fine as well. So I'm going to actually do something here. What I'm doing is actually creating ID 500, and we're going to see if this works because I just deployed these contracts right before coming on. A little bit more technical if you're not used to using Etherscan to interact with contracts. I do it every day, all day long, so it's kind of a second hand to me. But again, most of the stuff is going to have a UI. Some of it won't need it. So what we've done now is we've actually generated a new token, 500. There is no metadata, so there's not going to be an image for this on OpenSea or anything. But we could go here and we could take a look if we wanted to. And then back to LCP, you see the balance of this user account is still 500, or 50 rather. We can look at withdrawable. No, but we can look at the account here again. And what we're going to find is that for ID 500 is that I can claim 50 lot tokens. So I can come back, go to write, claim ID 50. No, it's 500. Claim ID 500. Right. And now it's just as simple as that. So that inside of DIN itself, you're going to have two transactions. One is to signal your support. The other is to claim your lot tokens if it won.
Nice. That's right. And
ooh, that's cool.
Kurt's asked about what about stored on on my Ether wallet or my crypto. I assume he means what, just like a private key?
Maybe like paper. I don't.
Yeah, paper wallet with the so. You can do the same thing with MetaMask, but it is better to use hardware wallet.
Yeah, if you have if you're using my crypto or what's the other one? I don't remember. My Ether wallet. And it's paper, right? And you have like a private key or a mnemonic written down on paper, and that's the only place you have it. I would encourage you to use MetaMask or hardware wallet. My preferred hardware wallet is Ledger, and it's really good. So you can generate. There's two ways to transfer it. You can with MetaMask, you can add a private key, and it'll be there forever. You can restore or whatever from a mnemonic, or you could, if you have the mnemonic from my crypto, you can add that into and restore a ledger with it or a Trezor with it. So
yeah, yep, excellent. All right, I think that's everything.
Yeah. And then here's the new token, even though it doesn't have any data, but it does have, here's the token, and I own 50. So
nice. That is excellent.
Pretty simple process to do things. Post it.
Yep. So it'll be really interesting when they're out there, because we'll be at least selling some. DIN will, and I'm sure other people will too, depending on how many they get and what the layers are. But it'll be an interesting process. We think it'll probably be a monthly, and we think it'll probably be a known schedule where everyone expects it and everyone's ready to do it. So right now the one with energy is going to be interesting because you vote with energy, so you're going to want to not vote the day before to gather up as much energy as you can. But that also means that if you want more matter, if no one else is voting, that you can basically get still the greater percentage for the day prior. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. So lore will be better. It'll be better when we have lore voting, but that'll be there soon. So okay.
That's cool.
Do you have anything else to add, Eric? I think we got all the.
No. Yeah. Just expect kind of a timeline. Lot is coming really soon. Lure is already out. We're going to add Lure to Uniswap maybe by the end of the week. Lot is going to come today or tomorrow. You won't be able to claim it that quickly. Probably claim it more toward end of this week or beginning of next. And then after that will be lure farming. So it'll be lots to look forward to, a lot that we're pushing out. So
Yes.
just be patient with us as we do these things. One of the things, it's in one of the groups, it was, well, when can we vote with lure? It's coming, and we just want to get through all these larger pieces of the puzzle before we do that, and we start using it. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that.
One of the big parts of lot coming out are that it'll actually be established inside of den, so that right now, if you have a layer with 5 owners, it's an even split for governance and for more important matter production. But when lot is there, the system's going to recognize it. It'll be a proportional distribution inside of each of these layers. So that was a known thing during the beta, and so it's about to happen soon. So I guess that's it. Watch us again next Tuesday. We'll have more updates definitely, and follow Real Denizens. That'll be important to keep up to date. Dragonchain Gang, Jojo Row. Like this, comment, subscribe, all the things you're supposed to do. That's it, I think. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, see you guys.
On January 7, 2020, Dragonchain hosted a 24-hour live demonstration during which 250 million transactions were executed fully on an operational network. Every single transaction on Dragonchain is decentralized immediately through 5 levels of DragonNet, and then secured with combined proof on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and Binance Chain, via Interchain. This means that every single transaction is secured by, and traceable to these networks. An attack on this system would require a simultaneous attack on all of the interchained networks. The demonstration was of a single business system, and any user is able to scale this further, by running multiple systems simultaneously. Our goal for the event was to demonstrate consistent capacity greater than that of Visa over an extended time period. The event illustrates the level of scaling possible with Dragonchain's operational network and interchain capabilities.